Let's go over some amazing things you can already get early in Hogwarts Legacy, from unique outfits that I've been rocking throughout the whole game to early legendary gear, how to get your broom and its upgrades as soon as possible, sell your gear for more money, got some powerful unlocks I want to discuss, and way more. Of course, if you found these tips helpful, enjoy the video, then leaving a like would really help me out. Subscribe for way more spoiler-free tips and tricks like this, and let's go. One feature you unlock after completing the Jackdaw's Rest main quest, which is relatively early on, is the talent system. This gives you pretty strong passive bonuses for spells, stealth, and other things you can use in combat. Now the system opens up even more after leveling up, but the moment you have access to it, you can already select some really powerful talents, like that cool dash you can do by holding the dodge button that you maybe already saw me use in other videos or my stream. I like to use it to pick up the blue agent magic sparks that can drop from enemies if you got a combo going. They drop after 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. But be careful when using this against bigger enemies that do a chain of attacks, like the troll. If you namely dodge their first attack with this swift talent, then the second hit from their combo will almost always hit you. It feels like they're catching up to you. So totally use the regular roll in situations like that, but otherwise this swift is amazing. Also when you need to close the distance for spells like Incendio, that of course can only hit an enemy from up close. Another important talent in the core tree is the basic cast mastery. This reduces your spell cooldowns by simply doing the basic hit, something you'll be doing anyways, so then you can use your other spells more often. Increasing the effectiveness of your potion is great, and if you go to the spells section, then having the Incendio mastery is really a must. I use this a ton when fighting creatures that are weak against fire, like spiders, so you can easily burn them all. And also handy against the inferi you will be encountering more later on, as you can only damage them when they are burning. Now, I personally use stealth a lot as well, so being able to sprint with the human demi-guys is amazing. So, next to these early talents, I would of course also totally unlock the extra spell sets, so you can use more spells at the same time. I immediately got all 4 sets when I was able to. And overall, be a little careful with these talents, because there's no way to reset the point you spent. You can save, of course, then spend the point, try the talent a bit, and go back to that save you just made if you don't like the talent that you just unlocked. I want to go more in depth on this system in the future, but for now just wanted to mention the ones that I think are amazing to get early on. Another thing you can already get early on, which is really handy, has to do with your gear inventory. Maybe you already noticed that it can get full very quickly, so make sure that you equip the best gear with the green arrow and then sell the rest. But there's also an easy way to expand your gear inventory. After the very early Girl from Wagadu main mission, you immediately get the quest for the Trials of Merlin. This introduces you to these puzzles that you can then also find in the open world, and it's totally smart to at least do one other one immediately after completing that quest. Like for example this one close by. For this you have to push the ball so it goes down the mountain into the hole. I actually pulled it towards me with Accio, and then I was able to move it. You then immediately complete your second Merlin trial, and if you then go to the challenges section in the menu, you can already claim 4 extra inventory slots for your gear, which will really help you carry more items, which you can then also sell. And if you want 4 extra upgrades, you will need 6 more Merlin trials. And by the way, real quick, to start these puzzles, you will need the Mellow Sweet Leaves that you can buy at Hogsmeade at the Magic Neep vendor. You can also make these leaves yourself in the Room of Requirements later on in the main story. So just be on the lookout for these leaf icons on the map, and then you can get even more gear slots. And a little later on in the main story, you will see these icons. They represent special ancient magic traces. Really easy puzzles. You just have to find 3 of these traces in a small location, and also here, complete 2 of these locations, and then you unlock an upgrade, which in this case is a brand new ancient magic bar above your health. So you can use that powerful magic more often during combat. You can easily keep an eye out for these Merlin trials and these ancient magic traces by using Revelio while flying around on your broom. Like, that's of course another thing you totally want to get early. Well, I mentioned that Jackdaw's Rest main quest, which unlocks the talents. Well, after that you can attend a fly class. But after the class, you will still need to buy your own broom before you can fly around. So you do this by going to the Spint Witch's shop in Hogsmeade that now has opened its doors. A broom is only 600 gold and you will only need one of them. Good to know is that all these brooms are the same, the only difference is how they look. So just pick the one that you like the most. But if you want to increase the speed, you will need to do special broom races. Just talk to the shopkeeper and then follow the flight test side quest. And then you find the first race at the Quidditch pitch next to Hogwarts. And I really like this activity, by the way, and you can always redo them for a better score if you want. After completing the race, you can return to the shop in Hogsmeade and talk to the shopkeeper. Now you have to wait though before the broom upgrade appears in his shop, which is usually after some main story missions. So just keep an eye out for some owl posts from the shopkeeper, and then you know when the upgrade is available. The first upgrade will cost you 1000 gold, after which you have to do another flight race. Then the second upgrade is 4000, after which you can do the final race to unlock the final upgrade for 7500 gold. Now, as you might know, I did a video on how to get 10,000 gold in 10 minutes of playtime. I will leave a link to that in the video description. It has to do with the special eye chest. A great way to make money next to selling gear, although you can increase the money per gear item sold as well. So after the season changes to winter, which happens after following the main story, then you'll have to do one mission with your companion Poppy and then attend the class from Professor Weasley. If you then look at the Hogsmeade map, you will see the minding your own business side mission, but only on PlayStation. This sadly the PlayStation exclusive quest. As I noted in the review, this is my favorite mission in the game. I won't spoil it, but what I will say is that after you finish it, you unlock your own shop where you can sell all your gear pieces for 10% extra gold. So green is 66 instead of 60, blue is 99 instead of 90, purple is 165 instead of 150, and legendary is 220 instead of 200. So yeah, that totally adds up over the course of the game. A pretty big advantage PlayStation players have. It's a 1-year deal, so it should come 1 year later to other platforms. I still wanted to mention here, because if you are on PlayStation, it is smart to unlock this as soon as possible. But again, there are other money tactics, including the one that I mentioned in my previous video. Again, a link to that will be in the video description, and this works on all platforms. And even without that 10% increase, selling legendary gear is great on every platform. So I want to touch on a few legendary gear chests you can already get early on to also, of course, be able to equip this powerful gear. Let's start over here on the map, which is near that early main story mission, the girl from Wagadu we discussed before regarding the Merlin trials. So next to that small village, you find this archway, which might look like nothing at first, but if you actually enter through it from the right side, this maze appears that you can then complete. It's pretty easy. You can even use Revelio to show the legendary chest that in the end you want to get to, and once you reach it, the maze will disappear and then you can claim your reward. As we discussed in our previous important things the game doesn't tell you video, these chests that look like this always give you a legendary item. You will sometimes find them in dungeons during main missions if you explore off the beaten path. But again, you can also just find them by exploring the world. Now, as you might know, I've been playing for 40 hours. This is an older save where I played 5 hours to show you that you can get these chests very early on. But I want to share some tips on these legendary items in a bit, which will be handy to know before you open these chests. Let's first look at a few other locations for legendary chests that you can already reach early on. There's another one over here on the map. You want to travel from Hogsmeade to get there. And then again, complete the maze to get the chest at the end. Speaking of Hogsmeade, there's actually one in Hogsmeade as well. You don't have to do anything for this, just go to this location. And another legendary chest can be reached from the Venomous Valor side quest that you find in the astronomy tower over here on the map. This one gives even more rewards, and I unlocked it, I think, after getting Incendio from following the special assignment from Professor Hackett, which has you partake in the dueling club. Totally recommend doing that as well to learn some of the combat basics. Now, going back to the Venomous Valor side mission, as for this you have to help Duncan and can then explore a pretty cool dungeon inside Hogwarts that I won't spoil. But this leads to a first restricted area of the greenhouse, where you can also pick up a ton of Venomous Tentacula, which function as nice turrets during combat. Like otherwise, these can be found way later into the game. Here you will also find a legendary chest in this like restricted room. So I wanted to show you the locations for these legendary chests, but the truth is that you might not immediately need them. When you open them, the item namely drops on your current level, so you will outlevel these items fast if you get them early on. What I would basically recommend is that you still get a few of them, especially the ones during the main story dungeons, but also leave a few that you still have like some legendary chests to go to later on, when also the legendary gear becomes more powerful. In short, after unlocking the Room of Requirement during the main story, you can apply traits on gear with legendary items being able to hold the best traits. This will then increase your spell damage. Not something you should worry about early on, but still good to know that legendary items are better later on in the game. So don't be afraid to open these chests, but it's smart to save a few of them for later on. And a quick reminder that if you save before opening a legendary chest, then open it and don't like what you got out of it, they can then just reload that save you just made and open the legendary chest again for a completely different item. Especially nice when searching for the right cosmetic, because of course when you loot it from the chest, you also unlock it as a transmog option. Again, a link to the video with way more tips like this in the video description. And by the way, that Venomous Valor side quest I mentioned, if you return to Duncan, you actually get the really cool Venomous Tentacula robe that I quite like. But maybe you noticed another robe that I was rocking when getting these chests, and that's the authentic Historian uniform. A white robe with some red stars. I especially love to rock it with the hood on. And well, you can also very easily get it from a side quest early on in the game. It's called a cache in the castle. It's in the astronomy tower over here on the map. You have to talk to your classmate Arthur, who tells you about a treasure map that you can then follow. It starts at the skeleton in the Dark Arts Tower, close to where you start the mission. You've probably already seen it. Then you can go outside to the fountain, enter through the door that is also noted on the treasure map. And once you go through the door, use Revelio. This will immediately show where you have to go. I don't want to spoil it too much. It's pretty straightforward. And then you will also get this really cool, unique uniform that, again, I've been rocking a lot during my playthrough. It's also the only white robe I found so far. And maybe it's the only one in the game, which is pretty cool. Subscribe for way more spoiler-free Hogwarts Legacy tips and tricks videos like this. A like on the video would really help me out. And check out that important things the game doesn't tell you video by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.